Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Look, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now because today's explainer, it's a total game changer. We're completely transforming how you code with AI. We're talking about taking you from a beginner prompter all the way up to an absolute master of AI coding workflows. And we're going to do it using 32 incredibly powerful Claude Code hacks that we've pulled from some of the best real-world testing out there.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for the explainer. We're grouping these workflows into 4 distinct levels of mastery. Level 1 is the foundation. Level 2 covers context management. Level 3 focuses on execution and quality. And finally, Level 4 gets into advanced orchestration.
So let's kick things off right away with Level 1, the foundation. Now, before we even think about writing a single line of code, we absolutely have to properly initialize our environment. If we skip this, the AI gets super confused, and honestly, you're just going to be fighting an uphill battle the entire session. So this brings us to our very first essential tool, which is the claude.md file. Think of this as your project's ultimate cheat sheet. You generate it by simply running the /init command right in your directory. Claude will actually scan your folders, check your files, and map out your entire architecture and conventions. This file basically acts as the brain of your code base. It completely saves you from having to exhaustively re-explain your project every single time you sit down to work.
All right, so beyond that initialization, there are a couple of essential setup commands you need to just rapid fire off. First, use /st. That creates a constant status line right at the bottom of your terminal. It's kind of like a mini dashboard showing your current model, the cost, and exactly how much context you have left, which is absolutely huge for monitoring and avoiding what we call token rot. Oh, and you've got to turn on the native /voice input. You can literally just talk to your terminal now and have it code for you completely hands-free. It's wild.
Once that foundation is rock solid, we step right into Level 2, context management.
Listen, bloated context windows, they are hands down the biggest trap for AI developers right now. When you just dump way too much noise into the conversation, it severely degrades the model's performance. But by running the /context command, Claude generates a breakdown that brilliantly illustrates exactly what's eating up your token budget. Whether it's massive system props, huge file contents, or really heavy MCP servers, you can diagnose that bloat instantly and restructure your session long before it completely derails.
So the crucial point here is how we actually survive this token drain. When your context hits roughly 60%, you'll want to run /compact. And the cool thing is, you can actually instruct it to preserve crucial elements, like your database schemas, while it shrinks everything else down. If you're switching tasks entirely, just use /clear to wipe this slate clean. Also, remember that claude.md file? Keep it lean. We're talking 150 to 200 lines maximum. If it gets too long, just have it route out to external reference files instead of trying to hold all that data itself. Oh, and hey, right here in the middle of our explainer, if you're finding these workflow tactics valuable, please take a quick second to hit that subscribe button. It really helps out.
All right, now that we've successfully protected our tokens, we are shifting gears into Level 3, execution and quality. There is a massive, absolutely crucial mindset shift you need to make here, and it's this. Treat Claude like a junior developer. Don't just spit out direct dictatorial commands like write me a function. Instead, give the AI open-ended problems to actually reason through. Ask it something like, hey, how should we handle growth tracking? Letting it make its own assumptions and genuinely think through those architectural decisions yields drastically better outputs.
And to really enforce that mindset, we use clan mode. Just hit Shift-Tab to jump into it. Claude will read and outline all the steps without actually changing any of your code. But even better, force it to continuously ask you clarifying questions until it is 95% confident it understands exactly what you need. So the crucial point is that forcing this alignment up front completely prevents having to do 3 or 4 rounds of incredibly frustrating revisions later on. You can even bake self-verification directly into Claude's to-do list. Step 1, sure, have it build a website, but do not stop there. Step 2, tell it to take a screenshot and check the layout visually, because remember, Claude can see. Then Step 3, have it open Chrome DevTools to interact with the browser and actively check for functionality errors. Claude is essentially doing 3 brilliant self-checking passes, building, screenshotting, and debugging, before it ever even presents you with a version 1.
But look, remember, at the end of the day, it is just AI. If it starts going down the wrong path, don't just sit there and wait for it to finish. Hit escape to exit early. Correct the course and re-ask. Challenge its outputs aggressively. Tell it to scrap a bad idea and try a more elegant version. If you make a wrong turn, just use /undo for a really quick, clean rollback.
And if you're hitting a super difficult architecture decision, just type UltraThink. That allocates a massive 32,000 token reasoning budget before it even responds. Steer tight, steer early, and save those wasted tokens.
All right, welcome to the final boss level, Level 4, Advanced Orchestration.
This is where we truly scale up operations from a single chat to an entire automated team. Think about the fundamental difference between subagents and agent teams. With subagents, you can tell your main session to spin up isolated workers to do parallel tasks, like having one agent scrape articles using a cheaper model like Haiku, while your main thread stays perfectly clean and focused on Opus. But agent teams? That's next level. Instead of just working in isolated silos, agent teams actually share a task list. They communicate with one another, and they can even assign each other work. It's a completely cohesive unit.
Now, what's really interesting here is that you can turn your company's standard operating procedures directly into automated workflows. You build custom skills by creating reusable prompt files right in the .cloud/skills directory. For example, you could have a techdebt.md file that knows exactly how to scan your specific code base, or a codereview.md file for perfectly consistent quality checks. You just invoke them with a simple natural language command. You can even commit these straight to GitHub so your entire human team can leverage them instantly.
But of course, as we scale up, this raises a rather massive logistical problem. Think about this for a second. How do you run multiple coding agents simultaneously on the exact same project without them completely overriding each other's files and causing total chaos? Well, the ultimate solution for that parallel AI coding chaos is Git worktrees. By typing the Claude worktree command, Claude creates an entirely isolated workspace on a parallel branch. This is so much more efficient than just copying your project folder over and over. You could literally have 4 or 5 different AI agents running simultaneously in their own individual terminals, working on entirely different features. And when they're all done, you simply merge the branches right back together into the main project. To truly orchestrate this entire environment, you need pro external connections. Installing the Context 7 MCP server is an absolute game changer. It totally bypasses Claude's training data cutoff by injecting live, up-to-date technical documentation directly into your session. Also, a quick pro tip. If you only need one specific database function, hard-code the API endpoints instead of loading full MCP servers. It saves huge amounts of tokens. Finally, host your session on a VPS so it's literally always on, and use the new remote control feature. You can start a massive build at your desk, go grab a coffee, and keep steering the AI right from your phone in your pocket.
Which brings us to our final, provocative thought. Will you remain just a basic prompter, or will you use these workflows to become the conductor of your very own AI engineering team? The potential here is absolutely limitless when you apply these principles. Thank you so much for watching this explainer to the very end. If you want to keep mastering your AI workflows, please hit that subscribe button right now. And as always, hey everyone,